How's everybody doing? Vic Mornington once again. So, in the video where we had a look at Warehouse 21, I mentioned that the following video is going to be looking at one of the multitude, and there is a lot of EDM clubs out there. EDM, electronic dance music. Basically techno, rave, trance, that kind of thing. If you're old school like me, old school dance music from the late 80s, early 90s. So we're taking a look at one of probably the better known EDM clubs. This is Peak Lounge, and Peak Lounge has been on the go for a number of years now. I think they celebrated something like their 10th, no, was it their 10th anniversary? I can't remember now. They've been around for a long time, put it that way. So if we have a look, when you go into Peak, now they've changed this place around quite a bit, because it used to be the case that you used to teleport directly into the club. But the old club's gone. Whoever owns Peak now, and I heard rumours that the original owner's not really the owner anymore. It was held over to somebody else, but the original layout of Peak, the old ground build that we all remember, is basically gone. Now, they've got several venues in the one region. And if we have a look at this board here, there's the different venues. You've got the lounge at the top, you've got techno, beach, cabaret and dessert. What we're going to do, we're going to have a look around all of them so you can get a feel of the place. So we'll head over to the lounge first of all. Did I actually teleport there? Did I? I don't know. Hold on. Alright, here we are. That was a oddly long teleport. So this is the lounge now. These places are open on a rotation basis. It depends what kind of mood they're in, basically. Hold on, what are you doing? There we go. So this is the lounge. The main lounge here, you're going to have the DJ up here, obviously, which is where the main stage is. Little seating area here, and you've got the main dance floor at the back. Now you'll notice a running theme with all of these different venues. The dance floor is huge. More about why the dance floor is huge once we've had a look around the place. Now if we head back outside again, and we hook round here, we've got the new Red Lounge. Now, I think this was just opened up recently as an extension to the original lounge, and yeah, it's got that kind of Art Deco kind of feel going on. So again, huge dance floor, bit of seating, and once again, the stage up at the top. If we head back here and we double click on the land, we should end up back here again, which we have. So we've had a look at, get rid of you, hold on, we've had a look at lounge. What we're going to have a look at next, we will have a look at techno, which is that one there. This is the alien one. This is actually my favourite one. The techno lounge has got, well, you can see with the little green dudes, well, kind of yellowish dudes there. It's got a kind of science fiction kind of feel going on. Once again, huge dance floor. Huge dance floor. You've got the separating rock thing there, and then you've got the DJ stage sitting in front of what kind of looks a bit like a Stargate, to be honest. But once again, yeah, turn it round, the dance floor is huge. Off to the side here, you've got a little quiet area just to chill out and relax if you don't want to, you know, run through the hordes of crowds that usually stand around the entrance, which is very annoying sometimes. Double click again, back to the entrance. And we're going to the beach next. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the beach layout. I'm just not a fan of the beach layout. The problem with this is the way that they've laid it out. The DJ stage is all the way over here in a little separate island, right? And in front of this separate island, there's a lot of seawater. The physics? Now, I don't know who made these rocks and the beach, right? Because the beach is not sitting on actual London Lab ground. It's sitting on like a mesh outline. Whoever done the physics for these rocks, they are absolutely horrible physics. Stand on the rock, you're basically floating like 1.5 meters up in the air, and if you go off the rock slightly, you're like knee deep in water, even though you're still standing on the rock. There's something wrong with the physics of these rocks. This is my least favourite part of Peak Lounge, and to be honest, they're not really using the beach as often as they used to, so I'm thinking they might have had a few complaints. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks amazing. I like what they've done with it, with just the general layout and look of the place as we tilt and pan the camera around, but there's something wrong with the physics of this area here. Not just that area, but going up to the beach itself. Up here, it's not so bad, but yeah, they need to find decent rocks for this. That's what they need to do. Anyway, double click, head back up, and right now, the DJ is at the green one. So the green one, if it's lit up green, that's the venue that's open. The one that's open this time around is Cabaret. So let's have a look at the Cabaret. We will get out of everyone's way first of all, and we will spin this round. Now, this is kind of, but not quite, the Peak Lounge that some of you may remember if you haven't visited this place in a while. The old club used to be here. In fact, it used to be, if I just tilt this camera around, it used to be sitting roughly here, but now they've rebuilt the entire area, right? So this is the main Peak Lounge. This is the Peak Lounge that a lot of you will probably recognise from the old days when it was a lot more darker and industrial looking. But if we head round here, the actual Cabaret is inside this big mouth. And no, it's not me for a change. Anyway, moving on. So here is the Cabaret part. So again, DJ stage is all the way up here, and things are taking a long time to rest because there's a lot of people here right now. So DJ stage is up there. You've got the main dance floor there where most people are not dancing and just standing around. I hate it when people do that. But the dance floor extends all the way out to the back wall, which is over here. Now, this is more reminiscent, this area we're looking at here, this area is a lot more reminiscent of what the old Peak Lounge used to be like. It used to be a little bit like this, but then they revamped it and had different venues open up. So this is the Cabaret Lounge, and again, when you land, if it's a straight teleport in and you're not teleporting in via the wall, you're going to land here where it says Peak Lounge. What you'll want to do is you'll want to hook right through the gates and just go straight into that big gaping mouth there, and you're into the Cabaret Lounge. One more place to visit, double click on the land, and that is the desert. This is one of the older areas of Peak Lounge. I think the desert one opened up something like a year ago, and again, when you teleport in, you will be teleporting in round about this area right here. So you've got a very, very long walk through these trailing string lights here to actually get to the road where the dance floor kind of is. You'll find most people, when the desert's opened up, actually dancing on the road itself. If we pull the camera out, it is a very, very large area. And on the subject of large area, let's talk about the one running theme of Peak Lounge that a lot of you have probably noticed. All the dance floors tend to be absolutely ginormous, and there is a very good reason for that. It is currently 10, is it 10? It's currently 10 in the evening UK time. If we head into here and we open up the map, 58 people in the region, and to be honest, this is it when it's quiet. Yeah, this is it when it's quiet. Peak Lounge is one of the busier EDM clubs that are currently on the grid. There is a couple of other clubs out there that are a little bit, but not much to be honest, but a little bit busier than Peak. But when it comes to different layers of venues stacked on top of each other in the same region, Peak Lounge has got that wrapped up. They've got 6 different venues in the one region, and that way they can chop and change where the DJs are going to be playing, and they make sure that when they put the notice out about where the DJ is going to be playing, they mention it actually in the notice. It basically means that the general regulars of Peak don't get fed up with the same club that they're going into over and over and over again, which is the downfall of a lot of EDM clubs out there. One of the things that people need to remember, which is the major difference between 80s clubs like, well, 80s and pop clubs like Muddy's Music Cafe or Totally 80s, for instance, and EDM clubs, is the general visitor's age, the actual real life age of the visitor that goes into these EDM clubs are in their 20s to their 30s. 80s clubs up to modern day pop, the general age of the visitor skews more into the 40s and 50-year-old. So 40 and 50-year-olds don't really care much about how the club actually looks. They care about the music. However, these EDM clubs, they've got to care about the music, and they've also got to care about what the place actually looks like, because if it doesn't look good, or if the general clientele gets fed up with it, they're going to go somewhere else. And the big problem that Peak, and not just Peak but other EDM clubs, have on the grid is there's a lot of competition out there. It didn't used to be the case that EDM clubs outnumbered general rock and pop clubs, but if you take a look at the destination guide and you take a look at the music part of the destination guide, EDM clubs are now far outpacing general rock and pop clubs on the grid. And that shift started to happen about half a decade ago when some of the older EDM clubs like Ambrosia, like Res, that's still run by Phil from what I remember, started to get very, very, very busy. Peak Lounge may not be the busiest EDM club on the grid, but you'll be guaranteed that if you pop in here peak time UK, 9 o'clock in the evening, 10 o'clock in the evening, there's going to be at least 50 people here. If you pop in here during the weekend at 9 o'clock in the evening, 10 o'clock in the evening, peak time UK, there's going to be 70 or 80 people here. If you pop in during peak time United States, 90, 100, you're going to the sim's going to be capped out. Simple as that. And this is the reason that all of the 6 venues in Peak have got a huge dance space, because they basically need it. They need it for the amount of people that's coming in. The kind of music that you're going to get here, the coverage of the DJs, from what I know, because again, I'm not awake 24/7, folks, right? But the coverage of the DJs is mostly 24/7. Which means anytime you come here, there's going to be a live DJ on. Some of them are actual live mixers that have also got a Twitch stream where they're there in real life on the Twitch stream while on Second Life, actually live mixing with a Pioneer set of decks. In fact, I think one of them's using a Sony set of decks, but most of them are using the newer style Pioneer mixing decks. And you can actually see them mixing live on Twitch. So that's the kind of DJs that Peak Lounge brings in. Yes, it's not the busiest EDM club on the grid, but it's one of the best EDM clubs on the grid. Not just because of the way that the venues actually look, but because of the calibre of DJs that they bring in. Sure, a lot of them don't talk on mic. About half of them don't talk on mic, actually. But all of them are literally live mixing while on stream. And there's not a lot of clubs that can say, especially in the EDM side of things, there's not a lot of clubs that can say they have basically got 24/7 coverage of live mixing DJs on the stream, with some of those DJs actually broadcasting themselves in real life on Twitch while they're mixing. You get the best of both worlds, folks. You really do. Anyway, that is it from me. If you're a fan of EDM music, pop over to Peak. They've got a lot of good DJs. Anyway, that's it from me, folks. As always, thank you for watching, and have a good one.